Welcome, everybody, to Three Beards Podcast. We've got our guest, Jeremy Davis, back on with us, sir.
What's
Because
up,
we
guys?
needed a resident expert on MMA to help make us not look so foolish when we try to dive into this.
Pretty much.
You've seen him on the Make a Change Father and Son podcast, Facebook groups, follow along with it. Definitely give him some love. I got Chris below me. We have, let's see if I can get it right here. That way, Austin. And Craig. So we're going to break down UFC 246. So we'll jump in that. Did everybody watch the pay-per-view?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because I pulled Martin Brown always made fun of it. I didn't watch that card. So
you guys missed an awesome card.
But what I did is I saw all the previous fights.
Oh yeah.
I watched all those. I was sitting at home debating. I'm like, okay, maybe I could convince the wife that this won't be that expensive. So I look into it. I'm like, 86. I'm like, no. I'm like, I should have gone somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody had to pay for the $80 million purse for McGregor.
It's different if you have like 2 or 3 buddies with you and you split the cost. It's just like when you're sitting here, when you're eating that for one thing, I'm like, apparently my dedication to Conor is not so strong.
It's expensive, man. Even with the ESPN Plus app, it was $73.
Yep.
So you only get like a little discount.
I know they're throwing that promo. It's like buy this fight plus get ESPN Plus. I'm like,
yep.
I can't.
Can't do it.
Yeah, so we're
Excuse me.
Crazy thing is, and one of the things I wanted to bring up with you is there were 2 fights canceled for failure to weigh. So Is that a common occurrence in most of these things where you get that many? I mean, 2.
It highly happens often. Definitely at that high level, you don't think it would happen as much, but it does. The weight cut, a lot, especially the girls trying to cut a lot of weight. Like the girl who was supposed to fight Claudia, she was off by 5.5 pounds. So
that was a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight. Like she had nothing left in her. She ended up getting pretty much naked on the scale and had nothing else in her. So after watching the interviews of what was going down, she'll end up moving up to 125 and just stay there and cut the few pounds that she has to cut. But it happens often. It's not unusual to see it happen, but it sucks altogether because obviously you don't get the fight after going through a training camp, and then on top of that, you don't get your full fight purse. Obviously for beating someone's ass.
Yeah, well, exactly. So the first one we did get to was the women's flyweight. So you had Sabina Mazo versus JJ. And that one, I said I kind of agree with some of the commentators. JJ, that one, in a way, it was kind of a surprise that Mazo was getting the win on that one because JJ, she was right there in it. So in a way, I was kind of surprised, but I mean, especially with Mazo hitting her corner, just bleeding down the face.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to me, especially as a judge, I mean, when you cut somebody open, I mean, I know just even a slight graze can do it, but it's still, I mean, just visual optics, especially when you're watching that fight, you can see this and you're just like, oh my God. I mean, that's just like, how did this go this route? Because it was sure it was a split decision, but still, I think it was 29-28, and then 28-29. So I mean, it was close.
Yeah, they were definitely, at the root of it all, they were definitely exchanging punches until she was busted open, and then that just pretty much changed the whole dynamic of the judges seeing everything and seeing who's controlling everything and who's being more dominant.
Yeah, so we're already starting off good, 246. I mean, I'm like, yes, we got some great fights.
Great fights going on, yeah. The prelims, usually you'll see a lot more action, because obviously I like to call those, I don't know, like they're almost like, it's almost like the nice, fun commercials before the main attraction type deal. So they always, UFC does a great job of making the prelims a stacked card. that's free for everybody to watch right before the main event or the main card. So that's always a plus too. So I got a hold of some of those fights, but then we were running around as we're getting ready to move. So we've been packing and stuff like that. So only caught a few of the prelims and then got right into the main card.
Yeah, I've got kind of a breakdown on those. I mean, the last one of the early prelims was the Alexa Cameron versus Justin Ledet. That was another one. Like I said, just a straight 2 out of the gate. I mean, we already have some really close competitions because it was another unanimous. It was 29-28, and then it went 30-27, 30-27. But this one was the crazy part is, I mean, I don't know if you follow most of it. Justin Ledet, he came out 9-0, and then he's lost 3 straight.
Damn.
Yeah, and so this one was like his 3rd consecutive loss. But I mean, at one point, they're tied up, and Ledet is just hammering him right here in the side of the face, just hammering him, just over and over and over. And so I'm looking at those, and to me, watching that's what surprised me the most about the fact that it went so much of it so highly to. I think I'll keep messing up his name. I think it's Kamul.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Kamul.
Yeah, and he won. And that was, but that one, I think the one was probably, and I'm trying to look, Ledet, when he got that, Kamul was falling back and he just lunged in and caught him with that uppercut right into the jaw.
Typical.
Yeah, I looked at that, I'm like, okay, he's got this. But then, bam, Kamul just got in and just, boom, he has it.
Yeah, there were some great fights, especially that Elliott fight.
We're gonna get to that one. Yeah. Oh no, I don't know if you saw my post about my commentary of what my just breakdown of what I thought. Just a good summary for that entire fight.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Well. Oh no, I'll say it right here. We're gonna get to Drew Dauber and Nasrat.
Okay.
That was the lightweight fight. Dauber was an underdog, and he came in. He ended up knocking down Nasrat to the ground, jumped on top of him, and just started pounding him down. And it was minute 10. Stop the fight. Yeah, we're just, I'm just stunned. I'm like, okay, I thought this was going to be another one of those round 3. This is going to be a long bet, but no, this lightweight battle done. He just got knocked off balance, went to the ground, and Dauber just took him out. And
that's
then, like you said, the one you teased to, we get to the flyweight fight, which I can only describe as a skinny version of Rocky versus he failed me, the Russian guy from the Rocky.
Naga.
Yeah, like a really skinny, shrunk down version of them. But the only way I can describe it is that he came in. It was Joe Dirt with the game plan of Rocky. And he got worked. I mean, as a fighter, I want your opinion on this. What are you doing with this? Leaning into the guy, asking him, come at me. I'm like, I look at this, I'm like, what are you doing? This is that YouTube sensation of, how not to fight, those guys that get rocked out as they're getting all cocky in the ring. Yeah, he's just standing there, just begging the guy, come on, strike me. I'm like, and he's literally, it was Rocky Balboa.
Just taking it.
Just over and over. And then they go to the decision, and he's all upset that he lost. I'm like,
yeah, I remember that. He was pissed.
We've all been in the gym, and there's this little thing that we all practice on called Bob. You were Bob.
You will.
You sat there at the center of the ring like Bob and took the punishment.
He forgot to fight back. He just
exactly. Rock and sock him, man.
Yeah, it was. Even my wife, who's not she doesn't watch the thing. She's like, "What is with the mullet?" I mean, he's it's Joe Dirt. Just like the only thing he didn't do afterwards is call for Adrian. That was the only thing he didn't do.
But he should have. I keep saying he should have.
Wrap the flag around him. Adrian!
He should have, man. But hey, they were definitely throwing leather back and forth, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, Askarov, man, he was he was. I mean, like I said, he was in the game plan, and it was just. I mean, the only thing I could describe, all fun side, is Elliott seriously had an issue with being cocky.
Yeah.
And
walking out there with his hands down a few times.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing. Like you said, just kind of doing that swag. I mean, he tried to do the McGregor swagger without being able to back that one up.
Do you do that though, hoping that they'll let their guard down and give up like a big hit, like you're taunting them? So basically, he tries to come in and you just think you're faster than him, so you get your guard back up and you just level him. Is that some of the things that go on with the cockiness? Like, yeah, go ahead and hit me, and then you kind of just get up and just round him.
You gotta be careful and do that though.
Yeah, a lot. You get a lot of people who get cocky, and as you've seen on plenty of YouTube fights that have happened, guys get real cocky and they get leveled and humiliated right there in front of everybody. So you just got to pick your battles. It's not a bad thing to get cocky, and showboat a little bit. It gets the crowd involved. It hypes it up a little bit more. You see that the fighters start to almost put on because we're entertainers at the end of the day, so it's almost becoming a nice entertainment for a little bit, and then all of a sudden fireworks are coming. A big person who's known for that is Clay Guida, who obviously was just ruthless in the UFC. Would just keep just slugging it out with you and loving the hype. Like he would start raising his hands and getting it hype as you just kept beating the mess out of him. So it's a fun thing and it's also entertaining, but at the same time though, you don't want to be punch drunk.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to do that whole hands down, lean in, just tell the guy, come on, hit me. I mean, he was actually asking to be hit, and I was just like, that's crazy.
He feeds off the adrenaline.
Yeah. I've watched enough YouTube videos to see all it takes is a nice, really well-placed thing right there, and the guy goes.
Yep. Nice little right to the brain.
Yeah, so then one of the fights, especially if anybody's seen, I don't know if you saw the Youssef fight.
Oh, Sadiq Youssef. Ooh!
It was awesome.
Dude, Sadiq Youssef is dangerous. He is dangerous. I watched him on the Contender. He fought one of my training partners, Michael Davis, in the Orlando area, actually. He trains at Fusion. And, man, you can go on YouTube and watch that. It's a UFC Contender Series, Michael Davis versus Sadiq Youssef. Bro, them two put on a clinic of, just talent. It's amazing to watch, man. I mean, you want to see two guys who just love to fight, man. That right there was you saw, Sadiq being a technician, but then Mike being a technician as well, but adding his phenomenal Muay Thai and boxing, because he comes from a straight boxing background, Mike Tyson's gym back in the day. So his head movement, his bob and weave is dangerous. And that fight right there, I would love to see in the UFC.
Oh yeah, just the grappling. I mean, he'd be right on top of him and just instantly into side control.
Yeah, man, he was neon blue.
I mean, see, I'm hoping I'm not, because there's so many. I'm just trying to remember off my top of my head. I think that was a match where I believe Fili had him top he was mounted on top.
Yep.
And just in a quick flash, Youssef, boom, had him off and with side control. It was crazy.
They were going back and forth battle. And like you were saying there, though, Sadiq was just timing his shots and putting him in the right position and just literally bringing some power behind those hands. And but that's another thing we were just talking about with weight cut. Sadiq has a problem getting to 145.
He needs to move up, right?
He should move up, but he loves that weight cut, as he mentioned in the interview. But as we get into more of these talks, I'll be able to talk more about that weight cut because you'll see the difference, of course.
Oh yeah, well no, I mean you can, like you said, you can even bring it up right now if you want. You just telling some of those people
during a weight cut, man, you definitely lose a lot of course, you got to cut the muscle. Once you're done losing fat and the water retention, you start getting into the muscle. I had a bad weight cut where I started actually cutting into my muscle So obviously my performance was horrible. I didn't hydrate properly. I was fatigued, tired, exhausted. So, it has its pros and its cons, but like Sadiq was saying, it's a struggle to get to 145, but he gets it done. But then when you go to Conor, who's fought at 45, 55, and 70, look at the difference. You can see the comparison of Conor himself from 145 to 55. You see the difference. And then, of course, you look at 145 to 170 of Conor McGregor, and you see a huge difference. Yep. You see a healthy, strong, clear-minded individual rather than an obnoxious 145 who's dehydrated, tired, would not do interviews, and all that stuff. Just like Cowboy was saying in his interview as well. I'm here doing interviews with you because I don't have to cut that much weight. I got to cut 4 pounds.
But looking into the commission handbook, if basically you go back to can you go back to the promoters and negotiate? Say I'm a half a pound over, all right, and I can't meet weight because I've lost too much, but I'm a half a pound. I was looking in the commission handbook. Is there a way you can negotiate to make this fight happen? Hey, look, fighter, he's a half a pound overweight. You gonna run with it or what?
Yeah,
it's a decision, right? That's what I thought. Because I was reading the book and I'm like, so you can make a decision if you still want to fight him a little bit overweight, right?
Yeah. So speaking on that, Chris, that's a good question. So like with Claudia, her opponent was 5.5 pounds over. The commission said no, but Claudia was like, yeah, I'll fight her at that weight. Like it don't matter, but she can't come in 5.5 pounds over. Now, like what you were saying, if she's a half pound to a pound, that's a different story. Now she could take some of her purse money or sponsorship, whatever they have in their contracts, and make that fight happen. But 5.5 pounds, definitely not. So that's where that comes into, the commission making the right choices for the fighters, of course.
It may be a stupid question, but is 5.5 pounds really that much when it comes to fighting? Because you're not really like lifting the person. You're more like, is it really a problem?
When it comes to power, I would think so.
Me personally, if it came, like, obviously you have really no say of the commission, but hey, man, let's fight. Like, I cut all this weight. I went through 8 weeks
exactly.
Like, let's get it, let's fight and make it happen. But the difference in weight, it does play a role. But at the same time, you got to go killer in the sauna just to get that little advantage. I mean, you're going to put an IV in you. You're going to rehydrate. You're going to do the same thing. So at the end of the day, it makes a little bit of a difference, but let's just fight.
Yeah. You need all the training for it. Shit.
Probably, if it wasn't Youssef, the women's flyweight had to be in probably one of my personal favorites of the night that I got to see.
The last one?
Roxanne.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was
fight.
And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I told you guys I have to get Jeremy on. We have to have something on here for this because,
dude,
bro,
Roxanne came to fight.
Yeah,
I think
16 years older than
37 years old.
Yes, I mean, she was the largest underdog in this fight. In this card for the entire.
She came, man.
She dominated 30-27, 30-27. 30-26. But the main thing, like I said, the first fight back and forth, just awesome fight between the two. I mean, you can see they're just trading shots. They're just trading stuff. But the one thing I really want to talk to you about was that knee buckle. When Roxanne popped her and she buckled, and then they went to the end of the round. Now, I don't know about you. Joe Rogan said it on there. He goes, is this guy a human MRI? How do you know somebody has slight tear on your ACL by just feeling?
And that was the funniest thing. And the funny thing is that he said it onto the ref's mic, so we all got to hear it. That she has a slight torn ACL.
Yeah. How do you know that?
How do you know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean. They have spirit in his fingers that have the MRI machine. So when he grabbed it, he's like, "Oh yeah, slight tear in there. I see it. I visualize it."
Yeah, I mean, we've all been to doctors. They're like, "Yeah, it's as they're feeling, they're like, does that hurt?" Yeah. Well, you might have. I mean, this guy said with matter of fact, it's like she has a slight tear in her ACL, but she's good to go. I don't know any doctor that's going to tell you, yeah, you're good to go with a torn ACL.
I was it was crazy. We were here, obviously watching it. And when that happened, I was asked, what is my thoughts on that? I thought the fight should have been stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because the refs will stop the fight for all kind of little things, a blood going into the eye, of course, and you blocking your vision, but she couldn't even stand. And we heard loud and clear that she can fight. It was just kind of weird, but hey, I love that she got in there and kept fighting, but Roxanne was putting on one heck of a performance and
put on a show.
Man, and she what's crazy about her? Everybody underwrites her, man. Everybody looks at her and is like, "What is this like goofy looking lady gonna do in this cage?" But she goes in there and she puts on a clinic. Like her jujitsu, people forget.
Yeah,
like the girl has jujitsu. Her boxing's not all that, but she gets in there and gets the job done. She likes to fight.
Oh God, I mean, she had her mounted on top perfectly. Mm-hmm. I mean, her feet were tucked in. I mean, she had her. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, that is. I mean, that's pretty difficult. I mean, I don't care if you're toe to toe weight wise. Somebody's 16 years older than you.
Yeah,
they're locking you down. That's impressive.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
Well, when it came to that fight, I was messaging back and forth with Craig and Chris, and I'm like, this woman is over here with a possible torn ACL fighting, and I can't even get off my couch and go for a run, But the commentators kept saying, she's taking her to the ground. Why wouldn't she stand up? Do you think she kind of felt bad? That's why she kind of put her on the ground to see? Because you could have easily knocked her out, but she was like, "Hey, we'll grapple,"
Dude, you took the words right out of my mouth that I said last night, man. I said, "Why are we not standing up? She can't even stand. You kick her knee." But like you just said, Roxanne is like that lovable person, man.
But women don't have as much ego as us guys, so she's like, well, she's hurt. I'm gonna take it easy on her. As long as I win the bout, that's all that matters to me. I'm thinking probably that's what she was thinking. But you want to get in the ring with me, and I know you got something to her. I'm gonna just try to demolish you. That's what's going on.
I'm making you get up, and I'm gonna blast that knee one time.
But I guess women are a little different than us. I mean,
no testosterone flowing. You know what I mean?
Like, hey, you can see the interview said it too. She's like, my coach said, hey, kind of go for the knee, and she's like, it's when you're in here, you gotta do what you gotta do. But you can tell she was not going for that knee. She felt bad.
She's awesome.
It's kind of unfair, man. It was cool. She was a good fighter, man.
Yeah,
good interview.
So now we've shifted into the pay-per-view side, the lightweight battle, Pettis versus Ferreira. So this is the thing. I didn't get to see, I got to see highlights and stuff. So I'm not going to really be able to give you guys really any oh, they did this and this. So I'm going to have to lean on you since you watched it. But we had a submission in round 2. So what was your thoughts on that fight?
Man, I'm a huge Anthony Pettis fan, man. I've watched him come from WEC. He pretty much influenced me to, just have fun in the cage pretty much. But man, watching that fight yesterday, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I have no idea. He's training hard, it seems, but then he's getting in there and it's just a whole different thing. And, he went against a great grappler who was definitely looking just to grapple. An awesome Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. Of course, Pettis is one as well. And that dude was just mauling him against the cage. I think Anthony needs to do a lot more wrestling defense, defending the takedowns. And he got pinned to the cage and rear naked choke sunk in, but it came across the jaw and then it slipped under. So the jaw pressure slipped under and it was nice. Joe Rogan was even saying, he's like, "Ooh, that's tight." And you could tell it was super tight because there's such a fast tap.
Now, was that the one? It wasn't him. Who was it that tapped to their foot? Was that the for? Because I remember that because I'm thinking of the highlights. But there was one of them where they were, as their submission, it was so tight that they couldn't even use their arms, so they were like tapping with their foot.
Yeah.
I might have missed that one, but Pettis tapped with his
hand. Okay, so it was it probably was either the bantamweight or the heavyweight one that did that. I can't remember which one because the bantamweight was Killer.
I think we
Killer versus
out.
Osborne. round 1, 2 minute 49 second.
2 minute 49 seconds.
Jesus.
Yeah, so
I'll tell you, going back to that flyweight real quick too. I'm a bad at-home referee because when I forgot her name, Roxanne was on the bottom, and she was throwing punches. I thought she was tapping out. I was like, she's tapping out.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
her off.
Yeah,
I couldn't. It looked like she was tapping. But
Yeah.
I'm a bad ref, so thank God.
You would have called the fight for no reason.
I've said that to Austin too. I'm like, dude, you would actually, because of your size, you'd make a great ref in the ring.
Do you think it's a little different?
Way.
Do you think it's a little different with some refs? Some refs will let you get beat half to death until they realize, look, he's really out of there. We're gonna call this fight. Or some refs a little bit, they let you go a little bit longer. And
another awesome, topic right there. I said the same thing last night while we were watching the fights. Herb Dean, we'll just real quick to the main event. Herb Dean let them fight inside that cage. Like Conor had already pinned him against the cage. Cowboy already covered up. Usually a ref is already in there like, hey, man, that's it. Like not letting you drop more bombs.
Okay, so that was a pretty good outcome that he let them go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, I've seen Herb getting, we saw that with Robbie Lawler and Ben Askren jump in there super quick. So I was like, whoa, like, that's pretty cool. But usually Herb's in there fast. It's, I just think, man, you should always just let the people, let the guys or the ladies fight and, until it's just pretty much surrendering. But obviously you got to protect us in there and, get home to our families and stuff like that. But, in the great words of Nate Diaz, be killed or be killed.
Yeah, I was also reading that the only person that's allowed on a knockout, KO, technical knockout, only person that's allowed in the ring first is the doctor. The doctor comes in, and then everybody else can make their way in the ring. But the doctor is the first one in the ring.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Now, heavyweight battle. Olenek versus Green. Now, were you surprised by that?
Exciting. I missed the heavyweight, and that was right before the co-main event, right? Yeah.
I know, Matt, you watched it. What were your thoughts on it?
I missed that one.
Because our producer Matt, he was there. Actually went to B-Dubs and watched the fight there, so he got to see those.
Oh, Maurice Green and honestly, round 2.
They said it was round 2.
I saw that dude on Embedded, the Russian-looking guy, I think. Maurice Green came off of the Contender as well. It looks like it. It looks like the dude. Maybe not.
I apologize. These are the ones I said, and then the one I know some of for the Holly Holm Raquel Pennington fight. I know some of the things, like a couple of comments I saw on some of the stuff that's like, what is she on? It looks like Holly Holm is just I mean, it's just like she's strung out on something. She comes out with such that just like in just insane intensity.
So it's something's not right about, like, what I mean? She's each his own, but something's not right about Holly Holm, man. I think they got something, slightly injected in with something. I don't know.
You got to, man.
It comes out just this fury, and then it's just, they're like, what is she? Yeah, she's like tweaking.
Yeah, she was like pacing like a caged lion.
That's her adrenaline. I mean, that may be her adrenaline because, I mean, if we're seeing what the promoters are, the other people are seeing, they can request a drug test if they feel.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they can go to the promoter and be like, hey, and you have to pay for it. If they ask for one, you have to pay for it.
The crazy thing is, she's been questioned a lot. Like I showed my girlfriend last night, like a picture of her of Holly Holm at weigh-ins when she fought Ronda Rousey, and you know what I mean. The question was, is this girl on testosterone? Is she taking testosterone just because obviously wearing a bathing suit on stage? Parental advisory. So the question was there. Is this girl on testosterone? And then it just kept raising red flags. And, of course, she's so lean and, like, ripped. It's like, maybe. But then I don't know, man. She's just like you were just saying, though, Greg. She's like adrenaline's definitely going through the body. I have to say that, but Jesus, man, she's like patrolling the cage like a guard dog.
Yeah, like I said, they're just like they don't know what it is, but I mean, she just looks like she took a hit of something, got in the cage. She's just like, and then you're like, wow.
Yeah, but that was a good fight.
Went to the.
I thought I might see Raquel do a little bit more damage. Holly Holm was just holding. It became into a cuddle buddy fight, and I hate it. I truly do, man. I've been to so many fights where it's just cuddle buddy action, and it's so boring. As you heard, the crowd started to boo it a little bit.
I was going to ask you about that because it's funny. That was one of the things that I've heard a couple of times. What would your thoughts be on? Because some people said like rule changes that at some point they would love to see like the ref stand in like a break, like they do in boxing.
Right.
Send them, then go, then fight. Like the age.
It depends. It truly depends because then you're gonna if they get into a clinch or whatnot and you separate them right away, you're taking away from the wrestler because obviously we can get double unders, we can shoot down to the legs. But I think after a few seconds of holding each other's shoulder blades and doing something from the Notebook, kissing each other's cheek, I think that we should separate.
Yeah, that's what it's like. You're like not like standing clinch because anything can happen there, but they're just like when you're on the ground and you're at that point where you almost look like you're spooning each other. You're just kind of laying there, just holding. Then they come in, it's like a real quick break. Tap, break up, go. And you're just right back into the fight.
Right.
Because like you said, and you're watching it, and all of a sudden you're like, boo!
Yeah. So in your expertise opinion, does fighters usually typically do that when they get tired, or they just can't, or she just can't figure out what to do, or she just can't wrap her up like she wants to, or
a little bit of both. A little bit of both, honestly. I've done it when I've been tired. I've been injured in a fight, and I'm like, shit, I got to disguise this. What I got to do? I'm just grab and hold on for dear life. Hug this fool. Give him a big hug and just say, hey, hold me type thing. I'm injured, man. I'm injured. You got me.
I know you're tired too, man. Come on, let's take a break.
I know you're tired. Hey, you pat him on the head one time. I know you're tired. Relax. Well, what's funny about that is that, I want to make my return this year back to the cage, and that's exactly how I'm going into these fights, man. Like literally, like I'm gonna have so much fun. Like I'm not gonna take it seriously, like I was before. I was just like so consumed by it. I didn't even enjoy life no more, And that's exactly what I would literally do in the cage. If I got injured or they caught me with a knee or I was just tired. I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna hug you and just tell you sweet nothings in your ear and just pat your head.
That's what we talked about last time. You'd be gonna give it a motivational speech. You hit me.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you on the Make a Change Father Son podcast. I'm gonna talk to you. We're gonna work through this, son.
We're gonna work through this.
Yes.
After this, you're gonna get it. You are gonna get out there. You're gonna get it.
I got some inspiration for you.
That didn't sound
Man,
right,
it makes
Greg.
me kind of want to fight Jeremy.
So we've come to the Conor McGregor.
Hey, you may get your ass beat, but at least got a good motivational speak out of it.
Yeah, man.
I called it. I didn't know it was gonna be second.
You didn't call anything. You said McGregor was going to lose.
No, I didn't.
You did. You said McGregor was going down.
No, I did not.
Who'd you have, Chris?
I had McGregor because somebody said they had Cowboy.
I had Cowboy.
Austin, who'd you have?
Man, I was one of the very few that was like, McGregor's got this. McGregor's got this. Because his trainer said, and it showed, he said, this guy is looking the best I've ever seen him.
For sure.
You said that from the thing. And I think, we'll get to the fight here in a second, but I honestly think the Khabib fight humbled him. But it wasn't the Ronda Rousey humble where all of a sudden you lose and you're never the same. I think we saw McGregor go into this like, I can't be cocky anymore. I actually have to get back to the thing where I can back up the statements. And he actually went to the part coming into it training as opposed to just saying, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to take him down. Well, obviously, Khabib rocked him.
I don't think it was that. Khabib got him by submission, right? He said he drunk too much. I mean, obviously,
That's it.
he was
Connor
like,
was 80% on the Khabib fight.
Yeah, Connor thought he went in this with his confidence, like I got this no matter what, and he got rocked.
Yeah.
yes.
I truly feel like all great points right there. And one thing that I loved about this, as I posted about the fight, I put it like this: if Cowboy drug Connor into later rounds, I thought Cowboy would win. Obviously, with Connor holding all that weight now, we saw it versus Nate Diaz. He had no gas tank, so that was my first opinion on that. And then after just hearing the interviews with Connor, he was being interviewed on a day-to-day basis. Man, that's the type of Connor that I like to see. Him coming into the UFC was, of course, awesome entertainment. The trash talk, all the glory that was going around him was awesome to see. But to see this Connor is a dangerous Connor. I said this last night. That's a dangerous dude right there. If he's like that, that's a dangerous dude. So he did come in there and he finished Cowboy in dominating fashion. Cowboy's a legend. I'll always take Cowboy in a fight because he'll show up on any day, time, rain, snow. He don't care where it's at. That's what I like about him. But Connor definitely came to fight. I definitely think he's making a run for it. And when he fought Khabib, he was drinking. He even said it before. He was calling his team, make sure everybody's at the gym in 30 minutes instead of now showing up to class time like a normal individual, like not separating himself from the rest of the team. And that's awesome. That's cool to see. So now he's definitely working. And I like his post-fight interview. He's getting right back to training. He's meeting with, of course, Lorenzo this week, and then he's right back to training. That's like cool to see because he's not taking no vacation. He's going right back to work to get ready for Khabib.
But at 170, nobody thought he was going to have the power. From if I recollect correctly, nobody thought he was going to have the power at 170.
Right.
I guess last night he proved that he's got power at 170.
Oh yeah.
So he says he loves 170. I mean, but looking at the cards, he has so many options now. He could go down and get a championship. He could stay at 170 and get one. So what direction do you think he's going to stay at? I think the money fight is 170. I think that's his money.
I think he'll go to Khabib for 155.
Yep.
And after he fights Khabib, I think he goes to either Jorge Masvidal or Kamaru Usman. But I think Jorge and Kamaru Usman will fight, and I think Connor takes the winner of that after he fights Khabib.
I think Kamaru Usman can beat him. He looks like he's got some pretty good grappling. He looks like he's a pretty good. He just looks like he's all around solid.
I do think that, but I think the mental warfare can definitely mess up the Nigerian Nightmare.
Yeah.
Nigerian Nightmare. Okay.
When the fight was only 40 seconds. As an MMA fighter, you don't really care. It was a great fight. Do you feel upset that you paid $70 for a 40-second fight?
Yeah.
How was your take on that?
I was like, we were sitting here, and I was just like, because the card was great. I can't say the card was one of the worst cards I've ever seen. It wasn't the best card, but for the price you paid,
it pisses people off.
It was. I would have rather went somewhere and watched it, but I love getting in the comfort of my own home and being with my family. So
exactly.
I was frustrated just because I wanted to see rounds 2, 3, maybe 4.
No.
Because I think it could have really been a bloodbath. I really think there could have been a lot of blood. I think
he was already leaking. He already got his nose broken.
Yeah, he already busted his shoulder.
Shoulder. Got it.
And now what's funny, though, you're going to see a lot of fighters start doing that.
Yeah.
It was a nice shoulder bag.
I didn't watch it, so I watched the highlights, and the first thing I saw was that pop, and I'm like, is that cheating? Because that was a cheap shot, I feel like, but
anything,
I guess it's legal.
Goes.
So. Legal. All legal. Perfectly.
Oh, man, that's cheap.
So I think you'll see it a lot more, just like I forgot what a lot of fighters were starting to do recently.
It was ingenious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. It was just, and it was a natural instinct, too. It was a natural thing that just boom, boom.
It was like a headbutt.
Yeah, like a headbutt. Just like a headbutt.
I mean, just like you said, that pop, and then as they broke back, and then as soon as you saw it, kick, pow. I'm like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
And Cowboy even said it, man, you like it caught me off guard, like on me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why like Cowboy, man, at the end of the day, I don't care that he lost. And I wouldn't be mad if he lost 12 in a row because the way he fights, the way he is in interviews, like his post-fight interview, come on now, how you not love Cowboy? He said, I love to do this. I love the fight. I'm okay. I got my family with me. This is nothing. He just appreciates.
Yeah, but the real story is his grandma.
Oh,
Yeah.
Grandma's phenomenal.
But I mean, at that level, I mean, I can only speak. I mean, yes, it looks bad on your record, but once you're at that level, you think whether you lose, win, draw, whatever, you're still getting a nice purse. That purse is fat. I mean, yeah, I took a loss, but I might come back and
How
beat
much
you
did he
again,
get?
though. But I mean, the purse is good. I mean, everybody wants to be a winner, but you still got a nice purse just to lay down.
Yeah, and he just signed a new contract too, another 6-fight contract. But he was also saying, a lot of, like you were just saying there, Austin, how much did he get? It's crazy too because they were talking about that in an interview I was watching with Dana White, and he got interviewed by like Frank something, an outside interview about how much they get paid, how much they're getting paid. You've got to think about all the endorsements. So Cowboy, Budweiser bottle, plus Budweiser, plus Monster, plus Reebok, /Adidas, and so much more. Other side little gigs he has going on, and the same thing you do for Conor. You got Proper 12, you got your suits, your clothing line, that fast workout that he has going on. So many more. Things that he has his hands in, plus the UFC, plus his logo is on the canvas. So it's like millions and millions of dollars. They got very well.
80 million is what
Millions and millions
for that.
Yeah.
That is.
Well,
I was going to ask, because when we talked about the change, I mean, when did you ever see a Conor McGregor fight where he goes up and embraces his opponent like that and then goes and hugs his grandma?
Never.
Yeah, I mean, that was I said I liked it. That's why I was saying I think Khabib humbled him back to his roots, where it's just like I have to get back to work, or else,
he realized he fucked
Let
up.
me ask you this: when have you ever seen Conor enter the cage, run around the cage, and pound his opponent?
Never. He's been too. Yeah, I mean, that might have brought him down to earth. Then pockets started getting lean, so he's like, I gotta go back to work. So.
And it's just this Conor. I have to say though, like they were talking about it too. A quiet Conor could be a dangerous Conor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I really think that I don't know. We're going to see something different out of him, and that's pretty exciting to see. Just as a fan to the sport, like it's amazing to see. I look forward to seeing him fighting. Zuffa and Dana White just did. They got boxing coming into Zuffa, so. He's gonna get back into boxing. I was reading and listening to, so that's cool to see. But I really don't want to see no chaos. I don't want to see no McGregor Mayweather round 2 nonsense. I really don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see McGregor and Mayweather.
For here's my thing though, because here's my thing. For what?
Yeah.
I mean, run a checkup.
You're gonna pay for nothing. Man.
for a train wreck.
Exactly what's gonna happen.
Mayweather's not gonna lose.
Yeah. I'll get with this now.
That's like Ronda Rousey said she could beat Mayweather.
Oh,
I mean, I would
have
paid for that. They should have put her in there. I would have paid for that.
So your instincts as a fighter.
They're relying on you to pay for that.
They want They want Chris to go pay for it. So Chris, when they fight again, you buy it. We'll all come over. And
we'll
watch it.
We'll bring beer and wings. But
there we go. That's our donation.
So kind of just a little detour there, with that fight. The Mayweather McGregor fight as yourself in the ring. So you could always see Mayweather was baiting him by that duck down to get him to do the strike.
Yeah.
So as a fighter, why wouldn't you throw an uppercut?
To me, and this is just my opinion, and Chris did it right there. It's all money. Just like me with the boxing thing, and I could be totally wrong, but again, it's just my opinion. I think in that high level. Especially with Mayweather, he runs boxing. So he's just like when he fought Manny. I think truly He saw Manny at the basketball game. He said, hey, this is what we're going to do.
You get the bag and I fumble it.
Exactly. So Conor did the same thing. Hey, if you want this humongous payday, here's what we're going to do. We'll come in. We'll exchange for about 4 rounds, and I'm going to hit you. I'm going to let you hit me a few times, but don't you hit me super hard because if you do, I'm going to embarrass you. That's the boxing aspect.
Because everybody's like, they're like, yeah, this thing is rigged. I'm like, okay, it went in, it went past the 10th round. So this, we're already past the, this is a stage fight. I don't think Mayweather was expecting him lasting that long. But
I don't know about you.
Every time he would do this, I'm just like, uppercut. That should be ingrained in your fighting style. Because, the guy in the ring, every time he ducks down to get you to get him to hit, dude, let him have one right in the face. He won't duck down anymore.
Never.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing a whole bunch, like since this now, there's so many fights that can be in the making now. Mm-hmm. Dana was talking about seeing Mayweather and Pacquiao again. I don't want to see that. In the Zuffa box. I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see Mayweather box again. We all know how it's going to go down. Like, you know what I mean? We can all. Were you going to bet against Floyd? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to do that.
Only if you capitalize on Floyd. You can't beat Floyd on a scorecard. I mean, I don't know how they judge it different. He could clearly be getting demolished, and the refs were like, "Oh, well, I didn't see that." When they added up the scorecard.
Okay.
But only way you could pin Mayweather down is a clean knockout. If you
you bring that up, I said that to the guys. There was a couple times where I swear that ref was on the side of Mayweather.
Oh, you talking about the tall, skinny one?
Yeah, because he would go up and he would sit here and like warn Mayweather. And I'm like, dude,
he's paid by Floyd for sure.
Allegedly.
And we could be totally wrong, but man, I don't care if we're wrong. It's what it looks like.
I know but it was one of those. Just kind of like a joke aside, here. But I mean, there was some of those cards like here. I mean, we were making fun of everything from Cookie Monster that came wrecking out with those big old purple pants. But I looked at these things that at the time I didn't realize Mayweather was a promoter of the entire thing.
Whole thing, man.
The whole thing. I'm like,
show.
No wonder what they called it in the backstage. They called it the heist, and that's why he came out with a ski mask. It was just a straight money grab on the whole thing.
TME.
Yep.
The money team. TME, baby.
You think about it. He has so many fighters in underneath his banner, so they cut him a check.
Cookie Monster coming out looking like.
I'm looking forward to seeing
Cookie Monster.
The fuzzy
He's doing a
chaps.
great dynasty indeed, though. TME, I mean, that's brilliant. He's got a lot of fighters that would love to fight under TME.
Oh yeah.
So do you think? So kind of just wrapping it up real quick. So McGregor, do you think he's going to fight Jorge? Jorge wants that fight.
Yeah, he wants that fight, and like I was saying earlier, I think he fights Khabib. I think Conor goes and fights Khabib. The thing is that's kind of crazy. Conor was making a great point. Khabib and Tony Ferguson have been trying to fight, I think 3 times now, 2 or 3 times, and they haven't. So Conor's on standby for it. So that's pretty cool to see. So I'd like to see Conor and Khabib. I'd like to see Jorge and Kamaru Usman, and then of course those winners out of that meet at 170.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I don't think really Conor cares about the BMF belt. I mean, it's and like Jorge said, Jorge wants you to put up collateral. He wants you to put up something because this is a one of a kind belt. So if he loses, he doesn't want to leave without something. So it's kind of
collateral. What can he put up as collateral? Like, I mean, how does that work?
If it's money, if it's part of your purse. Maybe he wants to cruise Miami in a 1972 Cadillac and look like Scarface. I have no idea.
So that's saying basically, in order to book this fight, you have to put up a.
It's awesome.
You got to back the fight.
Yeah, you got to buy. Jorge wants something from if he
wants this fight, you're going to pay.
Yeah, put something up his belt.
So if he loses, he wants something. How is that legal in the rules of the commission and stuff? Like, okay, I'll book this fight, which we know it's gonna be a money fight, but if I lose, you got to buy me this or you got to give me that. Like, how? I mean, how is that legal? They're allowing
Might be something. Probably come down to a separate contract situation. I know you're able to go, all in, like your purse. So, like, say, I go and fight, and I'm like, hey, it's an all or nothing fight. So, my whole purse for sure, whole purse. So that can happen. That can be written on a contract.
Okay.
So, that could possibly be what goes down. But to me, the whole situation's it's already laid out. I think how they got it going down. And Dana's going to do a great job of making the best fights as we got one coming up this upcoming week with John Jones. So.
And little trivia thing I learned just today. Conor is the only fighter to have scored a knockout in 3 different weight classes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I'm like, wow.
That's why I give him so many options. He can go. He's proven he can fight almost anywhere now.
Yep.
So
within reason, like not heavy.
I like that about Conor. 3 different weight classes, and like he's dominated all of them. Like, not necessarily the 170 weight division, but he's made his mark in there. You know what I mean? He's not afraid to go there. He's been there with Nate, and he's been there now with Cowboy.
Yeah, that's great. Well, sir, I need you to plug your stuff there. Make a change.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. As always, you guys can come and join the Make a Change Father and Son podcast. Inspirational speaker, just making a difference in your life, allowing yourself to improve, see yourself a lot, more important than society brings us out to be. It's always a pleasure being with the Three Beard podcast, talking sports, of course. As they had me on for the second time, I truly appreciate it. It's always an honor, fellas. Thank you again for having me. You guys can follow the Make a Change Father and Son podcast on Facebook. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays we go live. We're going to YouTube this upcoming month, and also Spotify, so you can have us all day long with inspirational, like 3-minute clips, and just get your mind right for your day. So go out there, be great, and as I always say, it starts with you and it ends with you.
Well,
That's awesome.
Jeremy, I will appreciate you for coming on, sir. Thank you so much. Like I said, have a great night, and like I said, be in touch. And everybody, go check out Make a Change podcast. And it's a great time. I said, sir, we'll talk to you later on.
Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Good night. Appreciate you.
Later.
All right, bye. Awesome. That's when we had him on. So the thing, another knockout is Broad's Beard Care.
Boom.
Yeah.
Beard oil, like I said, works great.
Oh.
Soap gets, cleans that beard and gets it ready for that nice beard oil in there. It just takes care of it. If you need to shape it, use the balm. Great stuff. Go to Kelly Brot. He's got that site at broadsbeardcare.com. Use our code 3beards, capital B, get 20% off. And also want to thank Nancy Berg or Nanny Cakes. Amazing cakes. Looking forward to seeing my son's birthday cake coming up. So check her out on Facebook. Give her a phone number a call at. That'd be you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm a little delayed. Sorry, something's going on. Call her at 407-923-2898. She's very busy, but she'll always take cakes. I was talking to her today. So the weekend, she's making your son's cake, Craig, your son's cake. She's also doing a wedding cake for Valentine's Day and for some reason, a 4-tier birthday cake for some 6-year-old daughter. So
That's awesome.
she's making like 8 tiers and then your son's Nerf cake. So she'll always take in cakes, man. 407-923-2898. Facebook, Nanny Cakes, Nancy Burke. And, of course, Instagram, nancy.b.burke. She sent me more cakes. I'll post them up tonight. So always check her out.
Check us out. ThreeBeardsPodcast.com. Instagram, Facebook, obviously, because you're watching us now. Twitter. Like, share, follow. And hopefully soon, like I said, we keep saying it, but we're trying to get some new merchandise up, some new designs and stuff. So we're still trying to work on that. But as soon as we get those, but
Show off your shirt.
Yeah, definitely. Just like, share, comment, share it with all your friends. Really helps us out the most right now. Just trying to get the word out, and then we can grow from there. So awesome. recap UFC 246. The commonly mistaken UCF and UFC. You just showed it right there.
Yeah, pretty much. You get it all the time.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we will talk to you later on Wednesday. And as always, good night. Thanks for watching.